Okay, so recently we got to see the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra in its titanium color, a real-life hands-on, and that shows quite a lot of things. Yet we didn't know certain things. But today I'm going to tell you all the specs of the Galaxy S24 Ultra because we have it. And on top of that, we have some good news, kind of. But before jumping into anything, I want to say that certain countries will also get Snapdragon variants of the Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus. So it's not going to be Exynos 2400 power outside US and Canada. There are other countries like India might also get a Snapdragon variant of the S24 Plus. But this leak by WinFuture also says that there is a good chance only European models of the S24 and S24 Plus will be powered by Exynos processor rather than the Snapdragon. I think we will have to wait for Samsung to confirm it. Now, if you look at the leaked specs and if you compare that with the S23 Ultra, the first thing that comes to your mind, what's the dimension looks like? It will be only 162.3mm tall rather than 163.4 of the S23 Ultra. That means it is much more smaller in terms of height. But that's only because the bezels this year are gonna be crazy thin. They're gonna be symmetrical all the sides, from the top, bottom sides, and they're gonna be razor thin. They're gonna be so much thinner, and Samsung will flaunt them a lot. This year, the phone is also getting wider, about 79mm compared to 78.1mm. In the hands, it will be quite wide. But at the same time, this phone is going to be much more slimmer at 8.6mm compared to 8.9mm of the S23 Ultra. But if you're thinking, as I said in the last videos, the weight of the phone is still going to be the same one, 233 grams. Now, if you don't know, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra will come with titanium frame, which is slightly more heavier than aluminum while making it much more stronger than even stainless steel. So they have probably used quite a lot of titanium in it. Another thing that is properly visible is that Corning Gorilla Glass Victus armor. I don't know whether this is a collaboration between Samsung and Corning, but this seems like it. But we know that the 5000 mAh battery is still staying the same. It will have the 45W fast charging, 15W wireless charging, the same 4.5W wireless power share, almost the same spec as the current model, no changes. The same thing also can be said about the USB-C. It's still the USB 3.2 Gen 1 port, USB-C port. There is going to be Bluetooth 5.3, just like last year's model, but this year it will support Wi-Fi 7. Unlike the Plus and the standard model, they will not support the Wi-Fi 7 standard. They will still be Wi-Fi 6E standards, just like last year's model, which is actually a future-proofing thing. But before coming to the camera, there are many other changes in other departments, such as the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy chipset. It's a 4nm chipset. The Prime core will run at 3.39 GHz, at least the spec sheet is showing. Performance cores, the Cortex A720 cores running at 3.1 GHz, about 3 of them. And another group with 2 Cortex A720 cores will run at 2.9 GHz. And then there are going to be Cortex A520 cores running at 2.2 GHz. This is a much different core cluster compared to Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy inside the S23 Ultra. And this will give it a lot of boost in the performance department, whether you talk about the CPU, GPU, or even the NPU capabilities. Because this year the NPU is going to be crazy more powerful because this whole thing, the whole Galaxy S24 series is going to be powered by Galaxy AI. At least that's what Samsung going to claim in the marketing, and we can see it already. That simply means they're going to focus on the AI side of things, which will require a much powerful NPU. And that is coming, definitely. Now, I've already discussed all the AI features in the past videos. You can check them out. But now, if you guys are thinking about the difference between the Exynos 2400 and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy, the basic Geekbench performance difference, then here are the examples of the recent listings. And you can clearly see that the Snapdragon is still ahead of the Exynos 2400, but the Exynos 2400 is no slouch either. It is really, really powerful. But the only thing that we can't really see from here is actually the sustained performance. I don't know whether that will be great or not, but Samsung has actually improved the cooling system a lot. Because this year we're hearing that, or also we have already seen the leaks from Samsung's own marketing materials, that the S24 Ultra will have a 1.9 times bigger vapor chamber cooling system compared to the S23 Ultra because of the NPU capabilities and the upgraded processing power. But in the display department, we can clearly see one big difference, and we have already seen it many times. 1 to 120 Hz on all the Galaxy S24 models. Finally, there is no difference between them. And on top of that, all of them will also come with 2600 nits of peak brightness. This is a big deal. But on top of that, we are also seeing that the high brightness, the manual high brightness is gonna be about 1500 nits. That's the stable manual brightness. That is a big upgrade compared to even 1200 nits of the last year's model, which wasn't bad, but this is a big upgrade. Now, another thing that is coming to the display department is actually the flat display. Now, this has been confirmed by many different live hands-on leaks, but this time we also have a live hands-on video that shows the same thing, that it has a flat display, a totally flat display. There is a slight bit of curve, but almost you can ignore that because it's just not even a curve anymore. But the only thing is that Samsung hasn't made the side frame totally flat. It is much more flatter compared to last year's model, but it still has curve because of the comfortability in the hand, but that's probably it. But now we have the big changes in the camera department. Now, the three cameras like the ultra-wide-angle camera, the 3x 10-megapixel telephoto camera, and the front-facing selfie camera, the 12-megapixel one, there aren't any changes, at least major changes. But the main 200-megapixel camera, even though it's still the same ISOCELL HP2SX camera, it is slightly more optimized variant of the ISOCELL HP2 camera. The sensor size, the pixel size are same, but this one has two great capabilities. One is sensor crop and then other one is ISOCELL zoom anyplace. Now, the sensor crop actually allows the camera to zoom up to 2x without losing any quality. So you're gonna get a 12-megapixel photo without any degradation in the quality while doing a 2x zoom, unlike the last year's model, which had to upscale that thing and use AI and all those things. But a lot of people in the comment section think that we are promoting Samsung phone. No, it's not. I'm a fan just like you guys, just trying to give you the information before Samsung's event. That's it. And the other feature that is coming is actually ISOCELL zoom anyplace. That will use the same technology that will actually allow you to shoot a video of a moving subject while tracking it. So you don't actually have to move your phone that much, and it will still be taking two videos. One that is the zoomed one that is tracking the subject, the other one is like the wide perspective. So you can choose whichever you want to keep. It's pretty cool. The same technology, this sensor crop technology, will also be used inside the 50-megapixel f3.4 5x camera. Now, this camera is a big upgrade. This, even though on paper looks like a 5x camera downgraded from 10x 10-megapixel camera of the S23 Ultra, but it actually can produce natively using the sensor crop feature up to a 10x 12-megapixel photo. That is way better than the 10-megapixel 10x photo can do using the upscaling feature. So it's definitely a better deal. If you're thinking about the 100x space zoom, that is still staying the same. Maybe it will be better because this time Samsung will also introduce a feature that will upscale the photos to a much higher resolution than it was shot at. So definitely cool stuffs are coming. Plus, we are hearing that at 4K 60 fps videos, you can still be able to zoom up to 20x, unlike the current system. On top of that, you will have option for like 4K 120 fps videos, really good. And on top of that, you will be able to shoot up to 8K using the 5x camera as well. It's a win-win for all of us. And the storage and the RAM, they are not changing at all, and they are already great. So I don't think why Samsung will change it. They're starting at 256, 512, 1TB is there, and there is going to be 12 GB of RAM as standard. All of them are UFS 4.0 technology storage, so that's it. Only the S24 with 128GB base model is going to be coming with 8GB of RAM, and it will be UFS 3.1. That's the one thing. The Plus model this year is getting a high resolution display. It's getting a 1440p display. And another change is the battery department. The cheaper model is getting a 4000 mAh battery but 25 watt max charging. The Plus model is getting 4900 mAh battery and 45 watt fast charging like the Ultra model. Now, if you're thinking about the color options, then here are the color options. These are the same color will also be available for the Ultra model, but will be called titanium black, titanium gray, titanium violet, and titanium yellow. For SamsungStore.com exclusives, if you're thinking, there are going to be few colors. One is jade green. It's going to be a lighter green color. There is going to be sapphire blue and a sandstone orange color. As for the pricing though, in the European market, we have heard it will still stay the same, $899 starting for the S24, $1149 for the S24 Plus. They're slightly more cheaper than last year's model, but the Ultra will cost you $50 more than the last year's model, 1449 euros. But we also know the pricing for each and every other models. Anyway, that's probably all we can see from the spec sheet. And I have some really cool news coming right after this video about the S24 Ultra. Well, I'm gonna make a video on that separately. And yes, if you feel like you need some really cool wallpapers for your devices, whether it's a tablet or a smartphone or even a laptop, well, I have some crazy cool 8K wallpapers, stunning designs, and amazing colors. Visit my website, joindavid.com, link down below. And until the next one, bye and take care.